dodgers. I'm gonna start my videos off like that. I know that's super cringe, super weird, but you know what? Jammy Dodge Dodgers, you get it? It's like a fandom name. Who else doesn't love that? Me, I love it. So the number one question I always get asked as a tattoo artist, and I think any tattoo artist gets this question all the time, is how do I get into tattooing? How best do I go about it? How do I get a tattoo apprenticeship? Yada 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 yada. My God. And I'm here to spill all the secrets, spill all the tea, and kind of give you guys maybe like a footing on how to get an apprenticeship or how to even get started into tattooing. So please grab a pen and paper because there's going to be a lot of information thrown at you, so I hope you can keep up. So how do you get into tattooing essentially? Well, my recommendation is to get a tattoo apprenticeship. I get so many people being like, oh, like I have a tattoo machine at home, I'm going to start tattooing friends, I'm going to start tattooing myself. Don't bloody do that, man! Like, I genuinely don't understand. Do people not understand these things are permanent? Like, you don't want to be destroying other people's bodies. At least learn how to do that before you do it. Like, do you know what I mean? So if you're thinking of starting tattooing at home, don't do that, please, as well. It's not only for people's safety. A lot of people in the industry will not respect you if you tattoo from home or learn to tattoo from home. Granted, there are some incredible artists that I have known that are self-taught, but yeah, they even said they struggled getting like an apprenticeship or a job when they've been like, oh, where have you tattooed for? And they say their house. Like, no, that's not professional. No one wants to know that. And one of the reasons why I tell people not to learn from home is because there's so much that goes into tattooing other than tattooing. Like, you have health and safety, you have, you know, cross-contamination. You need to learn about like bloodborne pathogens and bloodborne diseases, so you don't like cross-contaminate and like infect other people. Do you know what I mean? Because let's be honest, no one wants that. No one wants that. So tattooing from home is a big no-go. Now, you're probably wondering, what is a tattoo apprenticeship? How do I get into it? What is that involved? Basically, a tattoo apprenticeship is, you know, what you imagine. It's an apprenticeship to learn how to tattoo. Why did I have to explain that? You should have known that just by me saying that. And what involves in a tattoo apprenticeship is basically, I'm not gonna lie guys, you are the shop slave. It is a horrible time, but it's worth it. So I'm gonna go into some expectations you should expect before even getting an apprenticeship. Number one, you're not paid as an apprentice. I have not met a single apprentice who has, you know, been paid by their mentors or by the shop to tattoo. I actually know a lot of people who even paid mentors to take them on to tattoo. And I know this sounds really scary, not getting paid for however long. My apprenticeship was 1.5 years, so I didn't get paid for 1.5 years. But when you think about it, like, people go to university, they go to college, they pay thousands and thousands and thousands of money a year just to learn how to, you know, become a doctor or, you know, become a psychiatrist, and they're not guaranteed a job. At least with tattoo apprenticeships, at the end of it, you're guaranteed to work in that studio. Now, being self-employed is obviously difficult. Having to build that client base and everything is a struggle sometimes. But once you get that ball rolling, it's the best job in the world. So that's the first thing to expect while being a tattoo apprentice. Number two is you are going to be working outrageously long hours. Like, during my apprenticeship, I would get up at 7, go in for work at 9, and I wouldn't finish till 6. And I know that doesn't sound long, but then after, if I wanted to tattoo, I would have to, you know, clean the studio, so I wouldn't finish till 7, and then getting my client in for 8, and then tattooing till about 11 or 12 at night, and then you have to go home, repeat that all over again. And again, I know that's not that crazy of a time, but like getting up at 7, like getting for 9 till like 12, it's like, that's math I can't even do, but it's a long ass shift, especially when you're not even getting paid. And the reason why you tattoo like after work a lot of the times is because mentors and stuff, they know they're using the beds, and like there's just not enough space for you to tattoo, so you have to do it after work. And because a tattoo is free, you know, you're not really benefiting from it, from working, like taking someone's station up for the day when some other artist could be making money. Expectation number 3, you are going to be the shop slave. Now, this differs from mentor to mentor. I personally didn't have a single mentor. I kind of was like the whole shop mentor along with another person that I used to work with. And when I tell you, we were run ragged. We were getting lunches, we were going to, you know, collecting orders, we were doing people's shopping, you know, we were making appointments for people for doctors on the phone. Not only that, we had to work the front desk, we had to answer emails, take phone calls, clean the store, set up, look after the piercers, get people's lunches. It's a lot of work. And you know what? There is a lot of times where they're not even the nicest, which leads me into expectation number 4. It is very hard on the mental health. I know I'm not selling this to you guys, but I just want you guys to be realistic about this. A lot of mentors will not see you as a person. They actually will treat you like poop. Like, I remember one of my mentors, like, I wasn't back on time after my lunch. I had half an hour break throughout this whole day. Keep in mind, not getting paid. Didn't set up for me, pissed all over the walls and the floors and told me to clean up on purpose. So yeah, tattoo apprenticeships are rough, but you do get a lot of rewards from after. You know, you get to work the best job in the world. You know, you get to tattoo so many people from different backgrounds, different like cultures and everything. It's so interesting to learn these people's jobs and just lifestyle. You know, you don't know who you're gonna meet. Like, you can meet so many different people that like you never know what opportunities are gonna land you. And then of course you get to draw for a living. Who doesn't want to do that? So those are the nitty-gritty parts, but now I'm gonna kind of go into how to get a tattoo apprenticeship. I promise tattooing is worth it. Obviously the industry has changed as years gone by. I did my apprenticeship about 7 years ago, so back then it was tough, and like it wasn't even that tough compared to a lot of other people I know. So it's definitely getting better. Like the tattoo studio I work in is a very safe space, all female ran, LGBTQ owned as well, or LGBTQ like people in it and stuff. So it's very, very safe. But a lot of industries, a lot of tattoo studios are still kind of in that mindset. Anyways, ignore all that. So how do you get an apprenticeship? My biggest advice to anyone looking for an apprenticeship is have the strongest portfolio you can have. I always get questions of people like, Jamie, do I need to know how to draw to become a tattoo artist? Again, I will repeat myself saying this over and over again. Does a surgeon know how to do surgery to do surgery? Yes, it fudgy does. I think being a tattoo artist is so novelty now, and don't get me wrong, it's like literally the coolest job in the world. But again, you are putting something permanent on someone forever. Like, let me express that. Forever. Oh, I looked a bit scary there, didn't I? Like, if you mess up a line, that's on them forever. And like, I've had a few people like where I had to do cover-ups on people because they've gone to like cheaper tattooers and just they're not happy with the work. Or people they've been tattooed at home, you know, it's very, very, very tricky to get into, to do tattoos. But if you have a strong basis of drawing, tattooing, you'll pick it up quite quick. So have a really, really strong portfolio. I can do like an in-depth video of how to structure a tattoo portfolio if you guys want to see that. Yes. But having a strong portfolio is what's going to get you into the door, because when a tattoo artist sees your portfolio and they see you can draw, it's like, oh, like you can improve on that. And drawing for a tattoo is completely drawing for the way you would, you know, do a painting or do an art piece. You have to take into people's, you know, energies, people's souls, and people's energies. If anyone gets that reference, let me know. It's Ariel from X Factor. Metal! You want to see me? So yeah, you have to take into people's, you know, body composition. I always tell people they should wear their tattoos like jewelry. You know, when you think of body parts, they always kind of thin out the bottom. Like the arm will kind of go thin to like down here. So you always kind of want to make your drawings go into like a V shape, just so it can fit really any body part of the body. What am I seeing? That was a lot of body parts. So if you have the fundamentals of good drawing skills and then you can translate that into tattooing, bing bang bosh, sing sang song, you're sorted. Now, how do you get tattoo artists to see your portfolio? That's the tricky part. Honestly guys, it's a lot of begging, a lot of groveling, a lot of communication, and it's honestly sometimes cool, you know, or if you've been tattooed by this person a lot. For me, what I did was I went into every studio in Dublin with my portfolio and I was like, hey, are you taking an apprentice? And if they were like, yeah, I'd let them see my work. And if they were like, no, I was like, oh, can you have a look at my portfolio? Maybe tell me what I need to add, or maybe some constructive criticism. Just be nice, please. On what I should add to the tattoo, my tattoo portfolio, whatever. So in all, I think I went to about 6 tattoo studios, and I had a bit of a weird case with my apprenticeship. Like basically, I did my apprenticeship, I had to leave because whatever, issues happened, but I came back to it. But the first tattoo studio I actually went to took me on, but then when I had to leave, I tried applying to other places, and then I went back to the first one I originally went to. But like I said, I went into the studio, I spoke to all the artists, they kept my portfolio for a week or so, just so like everyone in the studio could like have a look at my portfolio, because the old studio I used to work in was bloody massive. Massive, some would say. I'm not in focus, am I? Am I focus? Wait, they don't love you like I love you. So my tattoo studio was bloody mahoosive. So like they had to take, you know, all the artists individually time to have a look through it and see if they wanted to take me on as apprentice. Because like I said, I wasn't under one person, I was under like a group of people. So I kind of learned from each person in the studio. Other ways you can get apprenticeships other than like, you know, going in with your portfolio. If you are having absolute no luck with showing portfolios to people, no one's taking you on, my advice is honestly just to start working in a tattoo studio. Not even as a tattoo artist. If you can get a reception desk, maybe even, you know, start a piercing apprenticeship, because I know loads of piercers. I know a lot of piercers who start off like, you know, learning how to pierce, and then when they work in the tattoo studio, they approach the boss, you know, they're like, oh, I can pierce on the side, but I can also tattoo. Once they're making money, most bosses don't give a fuck. So just get your foot in the door. Like that is honestly some of the best advice I can get. If you can just even get your foot to work the receptionist, cleaning even, you know, piercing, if you can just get your foot in the door in that industry, you never know who you're going to be able to like persuade into getting an apprenticeship. Another way is to get tattooed frequently. Maybe at the same studio you're hoping to get an apprenticeship, because one of the people I worked with who was an apprentice at the time, she's so talented, but obviously it's just hard to get an apprenticeship, but she got tattooed in the studio we worked at a lot, kept showing her work, and the more and more she kind of showed her work and just kind of like branched out and spoke to the artists, they were like keen to take her on. So if you're constantly getting tattooed by people showing your work, you know, showing what you can do, showing you're dedicated to getting tattooed, because that's a big thing too as well, you know, being part of that tattooed culture is huge. Like you don't want to be like having no tattoos and into tattoos. It's like a hairdresser who has bad hair, like you don't want to go to them. So if you can even get your name out there by getting tattooed by artists, that is a great way as well to get an apprenticeship. Now, what entails in a tattoo apprenticeship? Well, there's a lot of it. Like I said, you learn the fundamentals of basic drawing, like how to draw for a tattoo, how to deal with clients, how to answer emails properly, cross-contamination, hygiene, sanitization, how to tattoo with the different needle groupings, how to tattoo, obviously, how to run a shop. You know, all this stuff is so important and like it's necessity to tattooing, because if you don't have all these things, you just won't be able to handle the pressure. It's a lot of pressure putting something on someone forever, especially if you're an artist. I think as artists, we are so picky and, you know, we are so hard on ourselves when it comes to drawing. So you can imagine what that's like on tattooing, where you can't erase anything. This is why it's so important to get an apprenticeship, so you can practice, you know, on fake skin, fruits, you know, get the fundamentals down. And if you can do a good tattoo on fake skin, translating that to skin is obviously different, but it's not impossible. It's not like hard to do. You just have to get used to tattooing from the silicone to the skin. So like I said, being a tattoo apprentice is not easy. No, I worked from 9 till 12 a.m. pretty much every single day for 5 days a week. And then on the weekend, I had 2 jobs to support myself. I worked in a nightclub and then I worked in a shoe retail store because I was broke. But now look at me, I'm self-employed. I'm living in London. I only work 4 days a week now, period. That's all, like 4 days a week tattooing. And I'm able to sustain myself. I'm able to create cool art. I'm able to, you know, make something of myself here. And I'm working in a really lovely studio. Everyone's super nice and it's the best time ever. It's just getting that apprenticeship is so important, because if you're trying to learn this on YouTube, they don't teach you all this at home. You don't know whether or not you should change the gloves all the time, whatever. Like if you touch anything that is going to be going into the skin, so say if I drop something on the floor, pick up my glove and I have to throw that glove in the bin. Do you know what I mean? It's just stuff like that. It's little things like that that they will teach you in a tattoo apprenticeship. And I'm also going to tell you guys just some red flags you should look out for in case you're looking for an apprenticeship. Especially this applies to women specifically. If you are going to a male only tattoo studio, just be so careful, because a lot of men, especially the older men, will take advantage of that. There is still so much sexism and, you know, discrimination towards women and misogyny in the tattoo industry. This industry is super male dominated. Probably not as much now. I notice a lot more, you know, girls are tattooing, and female tattooers are the best. Like there's something about their artwork is just amazing. But you know, I know so many girls who got into their apprenticeship and they have been taken advantage of and you know, just been treated like crap just because they're girls. So please, if you're noticing any red flags just with the way they're acting towards you inappropriately, or they're talking down to you, or like in any way abusive, tattooing is not worth it. There's always going to be another studio out there for you. And this also applies to like anyone. I know it sounds really cringe, but whoever is like a minority or, you know, doesn't really fit the social norm. Because myself, I'm a gay Asian man and I face a lot of discrimination from my mentors. Not all of them, most of them are great, but 2 or 3 of them would always make homophobic remarks or, you know, racist remarks. And even if they try to play it off as a joke, it just made me feel so uncomfortable. Like there were so many days I went home crying for my apprenticeship, and I really wish I had the courage to speak up or leave. But at the time I was just 18 and I was fragile and I just wanted a tattoo, so I would have taken anything. But now if I could give myself that advice to go back and like redo it, I would have just said leave. You know, your mental health is not worth tattooing. Like I said, there's always going to be a studio out there for you. Also, if you're in this tattoo apprenticeship and you don't see yourself progressing like at all, like I said, tattoo apprenticeships vary from like time frame. Not everyone's going to be as fast as like myself, or some might be longer, or I know I consider my apprenticeship quite slow. Sometimes it might take longer, but if you feel like you're like, I don't know, 2 years into it and you haven't even touched a machine, again, it's not worth it. You'll find a better apprenticeship somewhere. These people just don't care about you and they're not putting the time and effort into you. You need to find a good mentor or good, you know, studio who actually genuinely wants you to learn, because that's what doing all this work is for, you know, like cleaning and doing all the slave shop is for not like in return of knowledge. You know, you don't get all this information for free. You kind of have to pay your dues and do all this stuff and get that information from them for doing these chores. So if you're doing all this additional work and you're not even getting the information you need to learn how to tattoo, it's not worth it. Find another apprenticeship. And also, do not be scared. You are probably going to get a lot of rejection trying to get a tattoo apprenticeship. Not a lot of studios actually like to take on apprentices because it's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of work. Like I got rejected from a lot of tattoo studios after I applied for my first one. So don't be disheartened. If you know your work is good, just keep asking them for constructive criticism. Ask them what you can do to improve that, and just, you know, stay consistent. Keep annoying the crap out of people. That's the only way you can get it, because I don't think I would have got my apprenticeship back if I didn't hound them with emails, if I didn't show up every day, if I didn't ring them. So yeah, you just have to stay consistent. Do not be afraid of rejection. Rejection will only motivate you to do better. And again, I know it's super hard to get into tattooing, but like once you get in there, it's so worth it. Also, one more thing, do not do these tattoo schools. There's so many new like tattoo university courses that you can learn to tattoo within like 6 weeks. You're wasting your money. You're not gonna learn anything in 6 weeks on how to tattoo. And if you go to a studio and go like, oh, I learned this from this tattoo course, they're not going to take you serious, do not go to them. It's not worth it. So yeah, that kind of sums up how to get an apprenticeship, what they kind of involve. If people want more videos in it, I can definitely do it. But basically, just have a strong portfolio, you know, go in, persist, and badger the crap out of them until you get one. And like I said, if you guys want an in-depth video on what a tattoo portfolio should look like, I can even show you what mine look like. I'm happy to do so. And I'm always happy to answer questions in the comment section below. So if you have any more, leave them there and I'll answer them. So yeah, hopefully this was informative to you guys. I know I'm a bit wishy-washy sometimes with words, but I think the main message got through. I hope so. So if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do. And again, as always, I'm on all these socials. I don't know where my editor's gonna put it, but it's gonna put there somewhere on the screen. But yeah, remember, tattoo apprenticeships are rough, but they're worth it in the end. So don't give up. Thank you guys so much for watching this, and I'll see you in the next one.